NBC Sports is live in Dover, Delaware for the MBNA Cal Ripken Jr. 400 for the NASCAR Winston Cup Series. The command to start engines less than 3 minutes away now. This is a sport that long ago became an American tradition. It's edgy, packed with emotion, loved by loyal fans. Today they have gathered in Dover, but they represent a country that is united. And as we close in on the command, one more patriotic thought as we move closer to race time. When these 43 cars take the green flag, they will all be moving forward. That's the direction our president has asked us to head, and the direction our country needs to go. And now, for your flag-to-flag coverage, let's send it upstairs to Alan Bestwick, Benny Parsons, and Wally Dallenbach, guys.
All right, Bill, thank you very much. And Benny, Wally, as we look forward to the start of today's race, let's talk about the mood in the garage area, what it's been like here at Dover over these last 3 days.
When the teams arrived on Friday, they were all talking about what happened over the past week. But as the weekend progressed, as they got the cars on the racetrack, getting ready to qualify, then qualifying, and then trying to get their cars ready to race, then all of a sudden, they had to start focusing in on the job at hand, getting the race cars ready to race today.
Wally, let's talk championship. Jeff Gordon at Richmond found himself in the wall early, lost 100 points to Ricky Rudd, and now here at Dover, he's qualified smack in the middle of the field.
Yeah, Jeff's a little bit worried, and he should be here, because at Dover, we have problems sometimes at the start of the race. You're on the edge here so much the first few laps, like in the spring race. Spring race, the 25 car got down on the apron. We'll see here in a second, and all of a sudden there was a big wreck. And when you're in the middle of the pack, it's tough to get away from it because you have walls on the inside and walls on the outside of the racetrack. Here we're going to ride with Michael Waltrip on board. He thinks he's got it made. I think I'll drive down here on the apron. Ah, yes, clear racetrack, and pow, there's Bill Elliott. So it's really tough to get through these wrecks when it happens.
Dover is nicknamed the Monster Mile, and Benny, it's not just a nickname, it's a reputation.
Well, and it's deserved as well because it eats race cars. There's no way. You saw that crash in the corner. All the cars come down the bottom of the racetrack. If you're going through on the racetrack, you're going to get involved. On the back stretch, and front stretch, inside and outside walls. See, there's no place to go to avoid it. And the cars are all going to go down the hill because the straightaways are banked 9 degrees. They're going down and hit that inside wall and do a lot of damage.
Pretty physically strenuous day for the drivers too, Wally.
Yeah, it is, and it's been shortened. It used to be 500 laps around this place was a lot, but still 400 laps is a lot. It's a tough racetrack, and it's tough to get a lot of grip. So guys are going to really have to be careful, especially at the start of the race, because that high line, although the Busch cars ran some rubber there, still going to be very slippery.
The pre-race staging has all been cleared away. The drivers are buckling into their cars, and their thoughts now just before they get set to fire the engines after all the pre-race ceremony and all they've had to think about the last 10 days are what?
Right now, the drivers are thinking one thing about what they're going to do when the car goes down in turn 1.
Let's go down trackside now for the 4 famous words that'll get today's race going.
And now for the most famous words in all of racing, I present to you a gentleman that's been handling this tour for 30 years, the Vice President and Director of Auto Racing here at Dover Downs, Mr. Melvin Joseph.
Gentlemen, start your engines.
Sit on pit road for a moment, get the cars warmed up before they roll out. Let's get a virtual look at the Dover Downs track from EA Sports, BP.
Let's take a ride on Thunder Motion, powered by EA Sports. The bottom of the racetrack is the place to be early on. Tony Stewart is in my way as we go down the front stretch. I will drive to the inside, and once again, should be able to pass him on the bottom of the racetrack. But you see, I ran on the apron. We saw Jerry Nadeau do that. In June, you cannot catch the apron. Off turn 2, you let the car drift back out to the wall unless there's a car on the outside. Tony Stewart is there. Going through 3 and 4, again, right down to the bottom of the racetrack. Try to stay low. As the tires wear, as you get warm, you will move up the racetrack. But early on, we'll see all the cars on the very bottom.
So that's a virtual look at what it's like to rock it around this Monster Mile, and these guys are going to do it for 400 times throughout the afternoon. Budweiser, the official beer of NASCAR, is the proud sponsor of the Bud Pole Award, given to the fastest qualifier in each NASCAR Winston Cup race. Dale Jarrett won his 4th Bud Pole of the season on Friday, and his first ever here at Dover Downs. Since 1979, Anheuser-Busch has awarded more than $7 million as the title sponsor of NASCAR's Pole Award program. Now a look at the Walmart starting lineup for today's MBNA Cal Ripken Jr. 400. Dale Jarrett seeking his 5th win of 2001 on the front row with Bobby Labonte. Check this record out, 10 top 5 finishes in 13 Dover races driving for Joe Gibbs. Dale Earnhardt Jr. finished 3rd here in June. He starts in row 2 with Ricky Rudd, who scored 4 times here at the Monster Mile.
On the inside of row 3, Ricky Craven started 30th in June, finished 4th. On the outside, Kenny Wallace in the car that finished 2nd in June. Back to row 4, Jeremy Mayfield led 80 laps last September till the engine expired. Ron Hornaday, the fastest of the bestest rookies this race.
Row 5, Todd Bodine with 3 Busch Series wins here, and Bill Elliott, 3 of his 4 top 5s in this season have been in the last 7 races. Tony Stewart won this race last fall from the 27th starting spot. He'll go from row 6 with Stacy Compton.
On the inside of row 7, Kenny Schrader, an American flag for car today, and on the outside, Kevin Harvick. Back in row 8, Rusty Wallace has 3 wins here, none on the concrete surface, and Joe Nemechek missed the race in June because of an injury.
Row number 9, Bobby Hamilton with a very good car in yesterday's final practice. Casey Atwood has a Busch Series win here back in '99. Elliott Sadler was the fastest in final practice. He goes from row 10 with Buckshot Jones, who's got his only Winston Cup top 10 here at Dover back in '98.
On the inside of row 11, Kyle Petty won the first race here in concrete, and Jeff Burton, 31st or worse the last 3 Dover races. And there he is, Jeff Gordon, the points leader. On the inside of row 12, this is his worst Dover start. Kevin LePage on the outside.
Row 13, it's Ward Burton, the Southern 500 winner. He finished 14th here in June. Sterling Marlin in his Dodge, he was the 6th place runner a couple of months ago. Daytona 500 winner Michael Waltrip is in the next row with Robert Presley in his Ford.
On the inside of row 15, John Andretti in the Petty Enterprises Dodge. Mike Skinner, his career winding down with Richard Childress. On the inside of row 16, Hutch Strickland and Hermes Sadler, his 2nd ever NASCAR Winston Cup start on the outside.
Terry Labonte makes his 700th NASCAR Winston Cup start today. He'll do it from row 17 alongside Mike Wallace. In the 18th row, Brett Bodine, who ended a series-leading 31 race streak without falling out of an event at Richmond last time. Andy Houston, his 2nd to last ride in the McDonald's car, goes from 36th place.
On the inside of row 19, Johnny Benson tied his career best with a 2nd place here last September. And Mark Martin has won 3 times in September here. Jimmy Spencer on the inside of row 20, Matt Kenseth on the outside.
And bringing up the field, a couple of guys who had very fast cars in final practice. Jerry Nadeau in row 21, and Kurt Busch, who is among the 5 fastest. In the final practice, he will start in 43rd position. 4 drivers failed to qualify for today's race. Leffler, Mast, Hooper, and Dave Marcus not able to be in the MBNA Cal Ripken Jr. 400.